At 3 in the morning, I was scrolling through Reddit when I stumbled upon an anonymous post in r/relationship_advice. I love my wife more than anything, but how do I deal with the physical revulsion I feel when I see her scars? In the comments, some people called him a monster. Others offered sympathy. The original poster replied to a few of them. It was a fire, an accident, but I can't help how my body reacts. I love her, but looking at her face literally makes me want to throw up. My breath caught in my throat. I clicked on his profile. The user's banner image was a picture of a golden retriever I knew all too well. It was Buddy, our dog, who died in the same fire 3 years ago. My phone slipped from my hand and clattered onto the hardwood floor. So, that's how he really felt about me. Maybe it would be better if I just disappeared. Maybe it would have been better if I had died with Buddy back then. At least in his memory, I would still be whole. Chloe. He was home. I walked over and wrapped my arms around his waist. Liam, I whispered, do you love me? He paused for a second, then chuckled. What kind of question is that? Of course I love you, Chloe. Then kiss my face, I said, pulling back to look at him. My scar. Kiss it. I stared into his eyes, searching for even a flicker of hesitation. There was none. He leaned down, cupped my face in his hands, and pressed his lips to the ruined half of my cheek. I could feel their softness, the careful, deliberate tenderness. Is that enough? He murmured against my skin. We can go for another round if you want. I shook my head. He smiled and let me go. I'm just going to wash up. I shook so many hands with clients today, my arm is numb. He turned and walked toward the bathroom. I didn't move. My eyes were glued to his back. I watched him lean over the sink, watched him wash his hands, and then, he brought his hand to his mouth and quickly, almost imperceptibly, wiped his lips. When he walked out, the warm smile was back on his face. I spoke first. I haven't seen Sophie in ages. I think I'm going to spend the night at her place. This time, Liam froze. Why the sudden urge? He stepped closer, studying my face. Are you feeling down? Or just getting stir-crazy cooped up in here? How about I take you out this weekend? We could drive up to the mountains? Or, I just miss her, I interrupted, trying to keep my voice from shaking. She's been asking me to come over for weeks. He was silent for a few moments, then nodded. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Go out, chat with a friend, clear your head. Do you want me to drive you? No, it's fine. Sophie said she'd pick me up. Alright. He paused, as if remembering something. Wait here a second. He went into his home office and came back with a thick envelope. My project bonus just came in yesterday. I was going to surprise you this weekend. Take you to finally buy that necklace you've been eyeing. He pressed the envelope into my hand. Take it. Go shopping with Sophie. Buy whatever you want. Money again. After the fire 3 years ago, I never went back to work. Not because he asked me to, but because I was too scared. I couldn't face the stares of anyone who wasn't my own reflection. I couldn't imagine what people would say about me, about Liam's wife. I became a coward, hiding in our home. He never said a word about it. He told me, Chloe, if you don't want to go out, you don't have to. I'm here. I can take care of you. He wired money to my account, bought me expensive gifts, took me to doctors, and sat with me through every painful physical therapy session. He did everything a husband could possibly do, and more. But I couldn't forget. In that anonymous post, he said the sight of my face made him sick. I have enough money. I placed the envelope back on the table. You keep it. Liam stared at me, his brow furrowed. Chloe, what's gotten into you today? Are you not feeling well? Did I do something wrong? His eyes were so deep, so sincere, filled with the familiar love I had known for years. For a split second, I almost convinced myself that the man on Reddit wasn't him. It was some other poor guy who happened to have the same name, the same kind of dog, and a wife with the same kind of scars. No, I said, avoiding his gaze. You haven't done anything wrong. You're perfect. You've always been perfect. I'm the one who's wrong. This face is what's wrong. He watched me for a long time before finally pulling me into his arms. Liam, I whispered. Just hold me. A little longer. He chuckled softly. Aren't I already? But he tightened his embrace anyway, one hand gently patting my back, like he was soothing a restless child. You're acting really strange today, he murmured. Am I? I buried my face in his shoulder, greedily inhaling the familiar scent of him. One last time. Yeah, but it's okay. He kissed the top of my head. No matter how strange you get, you'll always be my Chloe. I didn't speak. I just hugged him back with all my strength, like I was trying to memorize him, to carve him into my bones. Then, I let go. Sophie should be here soon, I said. I'll walk you down. Don't. I shook my head. It's windy out. Just stay inside. I stepped into the elevator. I took the service exit out the back of our building, hailed a cab, and gave the driver an address that wasn't Sophie's. It was our first home. The tiny, one-bedroom apartment we rented right after college. After we bought our big condo, we moved out. But I could never bear to let it go. It held too many of our memories. I secretly bought the unit last year. I was planning to surprise him with the keys on his birthday. The cab dropped me at the end of the street. I walked up the 3 flights of stairs in the dark and used the old, slightly rusted key to open the door. All the furniture was covered in white dust sheets. I walked into the bedroom. Hanging on the wall above the bed was a photo of Liam and me, taken on our last day here. I stood in front of it for a long, long time. Then, I took a small white bottle of pills from my purse. And a kitchen knife. I sat down on the sheet-covered sofa. One by one, I placed the pills on my tongue, swallowing them dry without any water. Then, I picked up the knife and held it over my left wrist. Once I'm dead, you won't have to pretend anymore. You can find a beautiful, whole wife. One you can take out in public without feeling ashamed, one you don't have to secretly wipe your lips after kissing. Your life can go back to normal. You won't have to support a useless burden who's too scared to even show her face. Your life will be so much easier, won't it? They say when you truly love someone, you want them to be happy, even if you're not a part of that happiness. Liam, I love you. I took one last look at the photo on the wall. I'm so sorry, Liam. I'm sorry I couldn't stay the beautiful, perfect Chloe you remember. I thought death would be an endless void. I didn't expect to be floating. So this is what it's like from the other side. An irresistible force pulled at me, and my consciousness was instantly ripped from that small room. I found myself outside Liam's downtown office. It was morning now. He was staring at his monitor, his fingers hovering over the keyboard, motionless. On the screen was the Reddit post. I watched as he typed, deleted, and retyped a long response. A general reply to everyone. I love my wife. That is not up for debate. The physical reaction I have to her scars is a physiological response. I can't fully control it, and it causes me immense pain. But my heart tells me I love her. So, I will learn to accept it. I am choosing to love her against my body's own instincts. I will take care of her. This isn't a sacrifice. It's me choosing all of her, and that includes her scars. Thank you all for the advice and criticism. I'm going to see a therapist to work on this. And please, do not attack my wife in the comments. She is an innocent victim in all of this. My ghostly self floated behind him, reading the words he had just sent out into the world. Choosing to love her against his body's instincts. So that's what it was. But it was too late. You knew how sensitive and broken I became after the fire, Liam. The moment I saw that first post, my fate was sealed. I didn't want to be your burden anymore. If my body could still feel, I'm sure it would be crying right now. I watched him work, tackling stacks of paperwork, going from one meeting to the next. A young, pretty intern blushed as she placed a cup of coffee on his desk. Mr. Hayes, she said softly. You're working so hard. He looked up and gave her a polite smile, gently pushing the mug back toward her. Thank you, but I'm more of a tea drinker. Besides, he gestured to a small picture frame on his desk, a photo of us on the beach from our college graduation trip. My wife is the jealous type. The girl's face turned beet red. She mumbled an apology and hurried away with the coffee. He turned back to his desk, his gaze softening as he looked at our picture. What would he do if he saw me now? If he saw the body on the sofa? On his drive home, he called me. No answer. He frowned and dialed Sophie. Chloe? No, she never came over. Liam, what's going on? Is Chloe missing? I watched the color drain from Liam's face. She said she was coming to your place last night. His voice was raw. She never did. She didn't even call me. Liam, what happened to her? Did she? Sophie's voice was filled with panic. Liam hung up before she could finish. He slammed on the brakes, pulling the car over to the side of the road. He was frantically replaying last night in his head, every detail, every word, every look. You're acting really strange today. Just hold me. A little longer. I have enough money. You're perfect. You've always been perfect. His head snapped up. He threw the car back into drive. He spun the car around, heading not toward our condo, but toward the old part of town, toward our old home. The one that was supposed to be our secret. Liam slammed on the brakes at the end of the street. He didn't even bother to close the car door as he sprinted toward the familiar old apartment building. Just as he was about to run into the lobby, his phone buzzed violently in his pocket. Annoyed, he pulled it out to decline the call, but his eyes instantly locked onto the screen. It was a scheduled text message. Sent from my number, from a long, long time ago. He froze, his fingers trembling as he opened it. I floated beside him, looking at the glowing screen. He, future Liam and future Chloe. If you two are still together in 10 years. Of course you are. I just found this schedule sent feature and thought it would be so fun. What are we like in 10 years? Are we married? Do we have kids? A boy or a girl? What about a dog? We promised we'd get a dog. Is it a golden retriever or a corgi? Are we still living in that tiny apartment? Or did we finally buy a big house? Also, if, and this is a big if you get this message, and you can't find me, or it feels like I've disappeared. Do not panic. Do not worry. Reading that, Liam's breathing became ragged. The text continued. It just means I'm planning a super, mega, ultra big surprise for you. So, if you can't find me, just relax and wait. The surprise is coming soon. Love you. The message ended. Liam stared at the screen and a broken smile touched his lips. Yeah, the Chloe from 10 years ago was quirky and loved pulling little romantic stunts like this. A surprise? He whispered, his voice hoarse. Just then, his phone rang again. It was his office. He answered with a frown. His assistant's panicked voice came through the speaker. Mr. Hayes, we have an emergency with the supplier. The data isn't matching up, there might be a breach in the contract, and their legal team is demanding a call right now. It's urgent, sir. I'm on my way. He hung up, looked one more time at the 10-year-old message on his screen, and his face tightened. I knew he was hesitating between believing in my surprise and storming upstairs to discover the truth. I watched him stand there for 10 seconds. Finally, he turned and walked back to his car. He missed it. It's better this way. At least the back of his head, as he drove away, didn't look quite so desperate. He didn't go upstairs. He wouldn't find my surprise just yet. Liam drove back to the office and threw himself into his work. It wasn't until after midnight that the crisis was finally under control. He leaned back in his leather chair and habitually picked up his phone, opening his texts to our conversation. The last message was from me, asking when he'd be home. He started to type, "Are you home yet? What's my baby girl up to? I'm never coming home, Liam." He closed the app and opened a heavily encrypted, password-protected notes app one never knew he had. I floated behind him and read the contents. Physical therapy hurts so much, but she never makes a sound. It kills me. Need to make more money. The best medicine, the best doctors. She's so sensitive now. Always afraid I'm going to leave. I wish my love was something tangible, something she could hold in her hands so she'd never be scared. I need to give her more money. It's the only way I know how to make her feel secure. Each entry was short, but devastatingly heavy. I felt the air in my non-existent lungs get squeezed out. He put his phone down and buried his face in his hands. He sat like that for a long, long time, until sheer exhaustion finally won. He slumped forward, falling into a deep sleep right there at his desk. Suddenly, there was a movement behind me. Confused, I turned around. A child was standing there. "What are you doing here?" the little boy asked, his voice clear as a bell. He could see me? I was stunned, but I answered instinctively. "I?" The boy blinked his dark, serious eyes. "You love him?" he asked. "Yes," I whispered. "Then why did you die?" He tilted his head. His blunt question left me speechless. "It's because I love him," I heard my own ethereal voice say. "Now that I'm dead, he won't have so much pressure. He can meet someone better. Someone whole. He won't have to force himself to overcome the disgust he feels when he sees my face. And I won't be his burden anymore." I didn't think a child could possibly understand. But after listening, his expression grew agitated. "No," he said, his voice suddenly sharp. "You don't understand what love is at all." I was floored. I didn't understand love? I literally died for him. What could be more loving than that? The boy looked like he wanted to say more, but he suddenly whipped his head around, staring into the office. At almost the exact same moment, Liam's body convulsed violently on the desk. He was awake. He sat there, dazed for 2 seconds, then shot to his feet. He turned and bolted out of the office. This time, there were no phone calls, no messages to stop him. "It's too late, Liam. But you're coming anyway." His car practically drifted into the narrow street. He shoved the door open before the car had even fully stopped, sprinting toward that old building. He took the stairs 2 at a time. He reached the 3rd floor. And he stopped. Finally, with a soft click, the lock turned. The door swung open. The moment the door swung open, Liam's breath hitched. He stood frozen in the doorway, utterly motionless. The world seemed to fall silent. "You're just sleeping, right?" he whispered to himself as he stepped inside. "Chloe?" The name was a choked, broken sound ripped from his throat. He didn't dare speak any louder, terrified of shattering the fragile illusion. There was no response. Not even the faintest flutter of an eyelash. She was gone. His Chloe was gone. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. He scrambled back to his feet, fumbled for his phone, and dialed 911, his voice a hoarse whisper as he gave the address. Then, he slipped off his own coat and gently, carefully draped it over my body. Or rather, my corpse. His hands were unnervingly steady as he did it. The piercing wail of the ambulance siren soon filled the air. Paramedics in white coats rushed in, checked for a pulse, shook their heads, and murmured to each other in low tones. The police arrived next, asking questions, taking photos, and stretching bright yellow caution tape across the doorway. When Sophie burst in, her screams and sobs echoed in the small apartment. She stumbled towards the sofa, reaching to pull back the coat, but Liam grabbed her wrist in a vice grip. His strength was shocking, his voice raw. "Don't touch her." Then, my parents arrived. "Liam, give me back my daughter. Give me back my Chloe," my mother shrieked, her voice cracking with a grief so raw it was terrifying. "I entrusted her to you. How could you let this happen? How could you?" Her face, she must have been in so much pain. "What kind of husband are you? You should have died." She was hysterical, tears and snot streaming down her face. My father, his face a mask of quiet devastation, could only say, "Liam, how are we supposed to go on?" Liam's lips moved, but no words came. The aftermath was handled with the cold precision of a military operation. He was shockingly efficient. He contacted the funeral home, selected a burial plot, planned the memorial service, and received wave after wave of grieving friends and family. Dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit, he stood by the casket, bowing slightly to every person who offered their condolences, his expression one of stoic, profound grief. He found the right words of gratitude, handled every unexpected complication, and even managed to gently soothe my mother with a glass of water when she broke down again. The pressure was a suffocating, invisible net closing in on him from all sides. My parents needed comfort, but their eyes, once filled with love for him, now held a complex mixture of sorrow and blame. Work piled up. Critical projects were failing due to his absence and distraction, and his boss's calls grew increasingly harsh. And then there was our home. Every corner was haunted by me. My favorite slippers by the door, the slight indentation on the sofa where I used to curl up, the single toothbrush left in the bathroom cabinet, the dresses hanging in the closet. Late one night, he returned to the empty condo. He opened the closet. He pulled out my favorite silk pajamas and buried his face in them, greedily inhaling the last fading traces of my scent. All the emotions he had ruthlessly suppressed during the day finally broke free. "Chloe," he whispered, his voice cracking. He started rambling, his words tumbling out in a broken, incoherent stream. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I failed you. I couldn't take care of you. I didn't hate you. I never did." He choked on a sob. "It's just, sometimes, when I saw the scar, all I could think about was the fire, the way you looked, the pain. He couldn't go on. A moment later, a low, broken laugh escaped him. "Do you remember? Our first date, you were so nervous you spilled your drink all over me. Then you saved up and bought me a new shirt, but it was 2 sizes too small. And Buddy, that little monster. The first day we brought him home, he peed all over your new rug. You were so mad, but then you scooped him up and called him your precious baby. We were supposed to, when we got old, we were supposed to move back to the old house, plant a garden. You'd plant the flowers, and I'd water them and get yelled at by you. He spoke of our past, laughing one moment, sobbing the next. He wiped his face, his voice dropping to a raw whisper. I'm a man. I have to see you off properly. I can't fall apart. Look, Chloe, I'm not falling apart. But his voice grew fainter, his words slurring. The weight of his grief finally crushed him. He fell asleep right there, clutching my pajamas. After the funeral, Liam seemed to be doing better. He went back to work, tackled his backlog, and even took on a new project. He cut his hair short and shaved off the grief stubble. The office whispers faded as everyone assumed he was moving on. They all thought he was getting better. But I knew. Something was wrong. He started going back to the old apartment. He wouldn't do anything, just sit on the floor in front of that sofa, sometimes until dawn. The new intern at work, she reminds me a little of you, right after graduation. Clumsy, but with such bright eyes. Mom called today. Cried again, asked when I was going to visit your grave. I can't, Chloe. I'm afraid if I go, I'll... His voice trailed off into a dead silence. One night, he was there again. In his hand was the empty bottle of my sleeping pills. He toyed with it, his eyes vacant. Then, slowly, he pulled a knife from his pocket. He stared at the blade, then at his own wrist. Chloe, he whispered to the empty room. Wait for me. I won't get lost this time. I'm coming, to be with you. He raised his wrist. In that instant, it felt as if a powerful force yanked me towards him. No longer an observer, no longer floating. My consciousness was pulled into his dream. Liam saw me, and his eyes lit up with a wild, desperate hope, which was quickly extinguished by an even deeper despair. He held up the knife. Chloe, am I finally going to see you? I'm coming, to be with you. Liam, put the knife down. I screamed. He froze, stunned by the sound of my voice. I strode towards him. Who told you could do this? I stood before him, furious. I gave my life so you could live, not so you could throw it away. But, tears welled in his eyes. Without you, I can't live. I miss you so much, every day is agony. Then live with the pain. I cut him off. Life is pain. I was in pain for so long, did you ever hear me say I wanted to die? I closed my eyes, forcing myself to be calm. Liam, listen to me. I chose to leave because I thought it would set you free. But you're still here. Your life isn't just yours anymore. It's the one I died for, it's the only thing Mom and Dad have left. The anger rose in me again, my voice a raw roar. You're a man. What did you used to tell me? That if the sky fell, you'd hold it up? Well, the sky hasn't even fallen, and you're already trying to bury yourself. I didn't. He stammered, trying to defend himself. I just miss you so much. I regret it every day. What good is regret? I snapped, my heart twisting in my chest, but I forced myself to be cruel. Can regret bring me back to life? Liam, move forward. Live for me. Live a good life. He took a step forward, his hand reaching out, as if to grab the hem of my ghostly dress. Chloe, just as he was about to touch me, to say what he needed to say, I was violently repelled. Darkness. When I could perceive again, I was floating in the old apartment, looking down at the man passed out on the floor. After that night, he seemed to genuinely get better. He still had nightmares, still stared at my photos for hours, still cried into my old clothes when he was drunk. But it happened less and less. He visited my parents regularly, eating with them, listening to their stories, clumsily trying to fill the void I had left. At work, he regained his focus, becoming even more capable and driven than before. He was promoted, his responsibilities grew, and the light slowly returned to his eyes. About 5 years after I died, he met Maya. A quiet, gentle woman who worked as a lawyer for a partner company. They met across a negotiation table, where her sharp logic and calm demeanor saved a failing deal. I saw the admiration in Liam's eyes. Their relationship grew slowly. Maya knew about his past but never pried. She wasn't boisterous and demanding like I had been. She was quiet, but her smile was warm and reassuring. I watched her pack his suitcase for business trips, reminding him to eat on time. I watched them on weekend afternoons, reading side by side on the sun-drenched balcony. I watched her sit by his bed when he was sick, gently wiping his brow with a cool cloth. It wasn't a passionate, fiery love. It was like two weathered trees, leaning on each other for support. He deserved this peace. He deserved her. 2 years later, they got married. The wedding was small, just close friends and family. My parents were there. My mother held Maya's hand, her eyes red, but she gave her a gentle, approving pat. Sophie cried in the audience, whether for him or for me, I couldn't tell. Liam looked handsome in his suit, his posture straight, a peaceful smile on his face. As they exchanged rings, he looked at Maya with a gentle, solemn gaze, full of promise. In that moment, I knew. It was time. The only thing tethering my consciousness to this world was the worry that he wouldn't be okay. But now, he had someone to share his life with. His world had found its balance again. My parents were slowly healing. My presence had become meaningless. Like a mission finally completed, the light of my soul began to flicker. I was leaving. For good. My consciousness grew lighter, fading. My last sight was of their home after the wedding. The guests were gone. Maya was in the bathroom. Liam stood alone on the balcony, the night wind tousling his hair. He held a can of beer, but he didn't drink. He just stared out at the city lights, his expression unreadable. My awareness was almost gone. Then, as if sensing something, Liam suddenly turned his head. His gaze shot directly to the spot where I was dissipating. There was nothing there but moonlight and wind. But he looked right at it, his expression instantly becoming a storm of complex emotions. His lips moved. No sound came out. I opened my eyes. No blinding light, no hellfire. This was the afterlife? It wasn't what I expected. No reapers, no judgment, just an endless, silent river. A few other lost souls stood on the bank, looking as confused as I felt. Where was I supposed to go? Was there a guide? I stood there, bewildered. Chloe? A voice, trembling with disbelief, came from behind me. A voice I knew better than my own. But it was impossible, absolutely impossible. I turned. A figure was walking quickly towards me. He was dressed in simple white clothes, his face clear, his form solid. It was Liam. He stopped a few feet away, not daring to come closer. He just stared at me, his eyes wide, as if afraid I'd vanish if he blinked. It really is you, he murmured, his voice raw. I felt you leave. I wished so hard. I can't believe it. The shock was so immense, I couldn't speak. It took a long moment to find my voice. How are you here? You were fine. You were with Maya. He understood my unspoken question. A deep, wrenching pain crossed his face. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. I knew you were still here. I stared at him, stunned. At first, it was just a feeling, he began. I always felt like you were close. Sometimes, the room would smell faintly of you, even after I packed away all your things. I'd dream of you, not memories, but fragments, like you were watching me. Then, after I made the decision to really start living again, he looked at me. The feeling of you being gone grew stronger. Not disappearing, but, like a relieved, receding presence. Especially, after Maya and I got married. Hearing her name, my heart ached. Maya, he said her name with a deep sense of gratitude. She's just like me. Like you? Her husband died in the line of duty 3 years ago, Liam said softly. They never even found his body. She always felt he was still with her. She tried everything to get him to move on, to find peace. But he wouldn't leave. The moment she showed any sign of sadness or loneliness, that feeling of being watched would become intense. I stared at him, speechless. Other people thought we were crazy, that it was just PTSD. But we understood each other, he said with a sad smile. We realized that when we were together, when we made our lives look normal, even happy, the feeling of being watched by our lost loved ones would lessen. It was like they were finally letting go. So, the quiet companionship, the gentle warmth. We made a pact, Liam's voice was steady. To put on a show. For you, still lingering, and for our living family and friends. We had to live well, so well that you would believe we could go on without you. He looked directly at me, his eyes pleading. It was the only way you and her husband would ever truly leave, to go where you were supposed to go. Instead of being trapped here, bound by our grief. I trembled, my ghostly form flickering. So you and her, you never? We never had children. He answered my unasked question immediately. Maya and I were never husband and wife, not really. He took a small step closer. I know it was selfish and insane. But Chloe, I had no choice. Watching you suffer because of me, choose that path because of me. I was living in my own personal hell every single day. If my happiness, even a fake one, could set you free, I would have kept up the act for the rest of my life. He tried to smile, but it looked more like a grimace. I was a pretty good actor, wasn't I? I even fooled you. The weight of his confession was staggering. Was I angry? Yes, a little, for being deceived. But the heartache for him was overwhelming. Then, how are you here now? I finally managed to ask. I didn't kill myself, he said quickly, seeing the fear in my eyes. It was an accident. 3 months ago, on the highway coming back from a business trip. A storm, a multi-car pileup. He spoke of it so casually, as if it had happened to someone else. 3 months ago, right after I finally let go. After you were gone, it was like, something inside me was hollowed out. The motivation to keep acting was gone, he said, his voice laced with a deep weariness. He looked up at me again, his gaze intense. And then, I was here. I didn't dare to believe in an afterlife, in reincarnation. I'm a scientist, Chloe. I've only ever believed in what I can see and prove. But, for you, I was willing to believe in anything. I thought, if I believed hard enough, if I wanted it enough, maybe, it would be real. I just wanted to see you again. To tell you, face to face. He stopped, the tears finally breaking free. I'm sorry. I love you. He was sobbing now, great, racking sobs. I always loved you. The whole you, including the scar. It was a wound you got because of me, it was proof that you survived. I couldn't face my own failure, the fact that I couldn't protect you. I twisted that into disgust. So, in the dream, that's what you were trying to tell me? I asked, my own voice a whisper. He nodded fiercely. I wanted to tell you that I love you, only you, no matter what you look like. I wanted to beg you to forgive me, to not leave, but I never got the chance. I looked at the broken man in front of me. The man I had loved for so long, resented for so long, and ultimately died for. We were separated by fire, by scars, by misunderstanding, by life and death itself. And now, here, in the afterlife, we were finally face to face. After a long silence, I asked, so, what do we do now? Liam stopped crying. He took a deep breath, and when he looked at me again, his eyes were filled with a cautious, fragile hope. I don't know the rules here, he said. But no matter what, this time, he paused, as if gathering all his strength. I'm never letting you go again.